Afternoon, folks. John McNamara, your Wilbur-Ellis agronomist at the Plattsmouth, Nebraska location. It is now September, and you've probably noticed this in looking through your fields in August of how a crop generally matures. Now, with the dry weather we've experienced this summer, things have matured quicker than normal. Today's the 7th of September, and we have things that are alarming to me from an agronomy standpoint as far as differences. So I'm standing in a little patch. It's a little patch, but it's still a patch nonetheless of beans that have prematurely died. You can still see the leaves still hanging on them, but these beans have been dead for a while. The question is why? Yes, dry weather had something to do with it. Was it soil type? Was it soil fertility? Was it pH? Was it compaction? Or maybe it was all of them. Questions that always come up, and the thing that I always ask folks when asked these things is, what can you manage? You can't manage the weather, but these types of patches in these fields should be a signal to you when you're harvesting and looking at your yield maps post-harvest. What was it about that spot? Was it an insect? The last few years we've been talking about gall midge a lot, usually around the borders of the field. In this case, we're kind of out in the middle of the field and we've got a dead spot. Is this a disease? Is it an insect? Is it fertility? When it's something like this that has these oval spots like this, it's either one of two things. It's either a pathological problem or likely it's a fertility problem, maybe combined with some compaction. And I mention all these things because there's a number of ingredients to this recipe in raising a crop. So my consideration or my ask to you as you go through harvest and fall in prep for this, when you're scouting your fields here pre-harvest, take a peek at some of these areas that have been dead for some time. Obviously the grain and the yield is going to be much smaller than the balance of the field. Some of this is normal maturing. This is a group 2-6 soybean that was planted in the middle of April. So, by rights, it's old, it's mature, it's looking at being harvested here in the next few weeks. Where I'm standing has been dead here for about 2 weeks. So it's a signal to put a soil probe in the ground, take a look at your soil pH, make sure your fertility, because these are things we can manage. These are things that we can help you manage better. It doesn't eliminate the problem or the process for years to come, but if we can manage your soil fertility and your soil pH, and if this dry weather pattern persists, historically, higher fertilized soils, higher areas of the field that have higher levels of fertility can handle the stress better, can hang on a little bit longer waiting for that rain for it to continue active and productive growth.